Hello, and welcome to another session on using Blender for video editing. Except today we're not talking about that at all. We're talking about using Audacity for audio editing. As you know, inside of Blender, we can do certain things with our audio. Of course, we can mix everything together. We can make it pan left or right, adjust the volume. But there's other things we can't do. And it's not the best tool for the job in general. So what I'm going to show you here is how to take your audio out of Blender and into Audacity to do a bunch of things, the things that I typically do. So first step is to get Audacity, and you can go to this website, and from download, just go to whichever operating system you're running and follow the instructions to grab the file. And once you have it installed, set it aside for now, because what you need to do first is to get that audio ready to import into Audacity. Audacity can import just about any audio file, but it doesn't read in video files. We can get our audio out from the video using Blender, so that's what we're going to do here. As you can see, I've already got my video file loaded into Blender. I took the time already to click on Draw Waveform so you can see what it looks like, the audio portion of this. And I've already adjusted the range to match up to the length of the audio strip. So the first step is to export this out, and that's very easy to do. From the Properties editor, just click on Audio, and then make sure you have your output folder selected, and I'm just calling this export, not FLAC. I'll press enter twice, and it'll start exporting the audio portion of our video out into that folder. Okay, and there it's done. Now we can switch over to the Audacity program, and from here go to File, Open, and it was this file here, export. So double click and give it a few seconds as it imports. And then what we're going to do first is, depending on your audio, for this audio recording, it was using a single microphone, and really it is supposed to be mono, but for whatever reason, it was recorded as stereo. This is unnecessary. It takes up extra space, extra processing that's not required. So my first step usually is to go to Tracks, then Mix, and mix stereo down to mono. So that's going to take that stereo and just put it into a single mono track. And then, just to make it easier to see, actually before we do any of that, let me just play it so you can hear what it is. Recording. Pause for silence. Yeah, I typically start off my recordings that way. Just say something so I can visually see what we've got, where I've started, things like that. And then after that, I don't say anything for about 10 seconds. The idea is that you just let your microphone pick up the ambient sound in the room. And then that way you can isolate that and try to remove it from the rest of your track. Before we do that, one thing I'm going to do so that we can see it better is to amplify everything in general, the entire track. So before I do that though, let me just point out a few things. Right now, based off of the color, I can tell that the entire track is selected. So if I perform any operation, it'll be on everything. If you use your mouse to click and drag, you can see then what you're dragging out is the region that you will perform work on. So this white area, this is what we will act on, and everything that's grayed out will not be acted on for whatever operation you're using. For doing the amplification, I want to do it across everything. So one easy way is just to click somewhere along here. Well, not on the buttons, but right here where it has these words. By clicking that, then it selects the entire track, and we can start working. So to amplify, we go to the Effect menu, and it's the first option here, Amplify. And we can just click OK here. And what Audacity will do is it'll just increase the volume across everything in a consistent way. So everything has just been raised by the same amount. And most importantly, we don't have any clipping. Clipping being where if you increase it too much, then you introduce a lot of distortion. It just sounds bad. Okay, so now the next step is to do the noise removal. To do that, we're going to select just a portion here. We're going to zoom in. One easy way is to hold down on your control key and then just use your mouse wheel to zoom it in like that. And then we can use the scroll bar here to bring it over to here. So here's the portion. This is roughly the portion where I was not speaking at all. We're just picking up the ambient sound. So I'll click the play button. You can also use spacebar to play. Okay, so now that we've amplified everything, you can hear more that there is just noise in general. Okay, so now that we have that portion selected, the actually roughly 10 seconds worth is what I usually take. Then we can go to Effect again, and now we go down to Noise Reduction, and we click this button here. See, it says here, select a few seconds of just noise, so Audacity knows what to filter out. And then we click on Get Noise Profile. Okay, and that's done. It's really fast. Now again, we're going to click over here so that we select the entire track, and now we will apply the noise removal. So again, we go to Effect, and then Noise Reduction, and now we just click OK. And that'll take a few seconds. And one thing I've noticed when you do this is that it tends to make my voice sound a little tinny, but I'm okay with that. I'd rather it sound a little bit tinny and then less of the noise compared to anything else. So I'm going to zoom out. I'm just going to press Control F to zoom out and hit the play button. Recording.
Pause for silence.
Yeah, and over here you can see this is the volume meter. And I wasn't really showing you before, but before I did the noise removal, it was about at this point, but now we're about down to here for most of it. Okay, so the last thing I usually do in Audacity is level everything out, because sometimes I'm louder or sometimes I'm softer. So there's something that you can do, which is from the effect, and it's called Normalize. And the idea is that you generally make everything about the same volume. You know, bring the highs, you bring a little bit down, the lows you bring a little bit up. And I don't change these settings, I just click OK. And that's done. And that's it. The last step is just to export the audio. And to do that, you go to File, Export. And I typically export as a WAV, so you can just click this option, Export as WAV, W-A-V. And then make sure you have it exporting to the right location. Yeah, that's good. And then this is, I'm going to say, processed. You can call it whatever you want, of course. And hit OK again. I don't need any metadata tags. And once it's exported, then you can go ahead and bring it into Blender. So now I'll go back to Blender. I could replace the source here, but instead of doing that, I will go to Add, Sound, and go find it. It was this one here, Processed. Double click, and I will scroll down a bit here into the properties of this strip and say Draw Waveform so we can compare. And there you go. After that point, I'll just get rid of this one. Click X to delete. I can bring that one down, and I just start working after that. So I hope that was helpful for you. A very quick look into how you can take the audio portion out of Blender and into a format that you can then load into Audacity, do the amplification, the noise removal, and then export it out so you can load it back into Blender. Definitely one thing you would not want to do you definitely would not want to do any cutting, or at least not at the front. If there were, say, a few seconds of silence at the front, don't get fooled into thinking that you should get rid of that, because if you cut that out, you're changing the starting position of your audio, and then when you import it back into Blender, you're going to have some audio video sync problems to deal with. So yeah, so stay away from that, but all the other stuff is fair game. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do like this video, please do give it a like and subscribe for more content. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye now.